Hi, I'm Andy. Welcome to my video series. Let's get started. All right, here I am. I have been sitting here for at least 15 minutes procrastinating on starting this because I'm feeling nervous. It's one thing to talk about my passion for creating. It's a whole nother to create in front of people. Although I'm sure only like 2 people will see this. But anyway, today we're going to do our first activity or our first exercise. And I'm going to share with you my favorite way to create when I'm feeling sad, stressed, frustrated, or just in a funk. This has turned into quite a frequent art activity for me. So let's see if it resonates with you. I call this my mini feelings window. So first we're going to take, you can take a tape and tape off a square, or you could just draw a square, whatever you want to do. I'm going to use this tape. I like it. I'll let you know ahead of time that anytime I take tape off this paper, it's not very high quality paper, it rips, and that's just part of this process. So I'm going to tape off a square. I'll put my tape on my apron so that it gets less sticky and it still rips the paper. All right. Yes, I am not a perfectionist, so we're just gonna, this is how I do it. I just, what size do I want? I think I want a square today. I think that's what I'm working with. Funny thing about this diary is that I do it just for me. It's just a therapeutic practice to help me deal with how I'm feeling. But the irony is that often when I create from a place of my true self, my true feelings, I often end up liking it. And so what I do is if I do end up liking something and I want to share it with the world, like some of these I've shared, I just scan them and crop them into a size that makes sense, because my eyeballing these different shapes, they're never a standard shape. All right, so my mini feelings window. This takes some thought. So we could just start. That would be one way to go if that's how you're feeling. But my favorite way is to sit with myself and think about what's going on in my body today. How am I feeling? Like, how am I really feeling? Like really, really, really feeling, like for real. Do you know what I mean? So I'll be honest with you. I'm feeling excited because I've really wanted to share this sort of thing for a while. And I'm kind of proud of myself that I'm choosing to be brave and try it. I'm feeling nervous and I'm feeling tired because we're recovering from the flu. And so those are kind of what's going on. So I am going to start with my China marker, and I'm going to write those feelings that I'm having up here. This is optional. You don't have to do this. Any of this is optional. If you don't want to do what I'm saying, do something else. It's like when you go to yoga and you have your favorite yoga teacher who's like, here's an idea, but listen to your body, do what your body wants. That's the same thing here. So I've written excited, nervous, brave, tired. I'm not a tire. I'm tired. And those are the kind of things that I expect to see come out today on the paper. When I am anxious, I often get more scratchy things. When I am calm, I usually get more paint brush strokes. It's really interesting how I've noticed that. So if I look back at some of the work I've done, like I was just really feeling weird this day, and I noticed it's just like so many like, I get a lot of days like that because I do have anxiety. These are a little more calmer. Today, this might be like a thing. Okay, so I usually start off because starting is the hardest thing. You're like, it's white, I have to do something with this, what am I gonna do? So I'm just gonna do like a loop-de, just a loop-de-loop. That looks good. Oh, I might do some bold shading in. If you're working with like a highlighter or you're working with a magic marker or whatever, you might just, do some thicker lines in a place, do some thinner lines, play with what that feels like, do some shapes. yeah, I'm just really trying to go with what I'm feeling and creating what wants to be created. I went to a workshop recently, and the group was talking about when you're creating from the soul, it can't be anything but what it is, right? Like there was no other way it was going to come out. And that's kind of how I feel about these exercises. There's no other way for it to be. It's just going to be what it is because it's a reflection of who I am in this moment. And that just is what it is. So that's why I am saying, let's let go of the expectations. Let's go of the judgment. This is part of just like a snapshot of being human. All right, so I have that. My favorite thing to do now is to get my paint going, but you don't have to. You can do whatever your choice is. So I love this lavender color. I'm gonna pick it. It's matte acrylic amethyst from Blick. Put just a little bit on my palette over here. I'm using a disposable palette today. It's just a paper palette. Looks like this. Sometimes I use these. Sometimes I use a ceramic. Just kind of depends on my mood. I am going to go with a light amount of paint because I want it to dry fast so that I can work with you. And I'm thinking that just above these scribbles, I'm going to just go in and just paint that amethyst. That's just kind of what I'm feeling. I really am feeling this texture today too. So maybe I don't want it to be just solid. Maybe I want it to be, you know, just feeling maybe a little rough. Let's get those rough textures out. My favorite thing is to listen to the sound. I don't know if you can hear it, that the paint and the brush makes on the paper. It's so relaxing to me. You can probably hear my kids coughing in the background. We've been sick, and you know what? I just kept putting this off, and I was like, nope, everyone's coughed in their life. No one's going to be offended. Great. Ooh, I like that. Those colors feel like they're me at this moment. Next, I'm going to take teal green, another Blick. I have kind of a set of colors I like to use. I noticed there's a set of some colors that never get used, and then there's some colors that I'm always using. This would fall in the I'm always using these category. Yeah, so I'm just going to add this green in. I really like, wow, I'm just really feeling this like messy texture today, you know, like, yeah, this is really great. Just gonna add a little bit more water, just playing. The whole point of this is to like, just play, get our feelings out, find some joy. You know, when we were kids, we wouldn't think twice about just creating what we want to create. Now that we're adults, we have to overthink everything. We're like, oh, is it going to be good enough? Are people going to make fun of me? What are they going to think? Are they going to think I'm too much? I'm not enough? La, la, la. All those things. But what would happen if we just didn't care? Like, what if we just said my body wants to make a messy piece of artwork that's just for myself to make me feel better? Great. Let's do that. All right. I'm loving this. I'm already feeling better, guys. I was really nervous about making this video, and now that I've done this much work, I'm already feeling like, okay. And sometimes if I don't know what to do next, which happens, you know, your intuition, you'll say, I'm picking up this color, I'm picking up this color. But sometimes you'll think, I just don't really know what I want to do next. Sometimes I'll look for inspiration. I'll go back and see what combos I've done before, what I liked, things like that. So I think I'm going to go in with this. I have a sage blue, matte acrylic sage blue. And I'm just going to add some dots of it. It's one of my favorite colors. I like to use big brushes because I think my work in life, and it may not be your work, but my work is to loosen up. I can be a little bit, what's the word? Rigid in my insides. People say I don't seem that way on my outsides, but my insides can feel like anxious and tense, and so I'm always working on loosening up. So if I use bigger brushes, I'm not so inclined to try to be specific. I mean, you just look at all this. It just goes where it goes. That's what happens. All right, so this is feeling good. Now I'm going to take this, let me see if it's kind of dry. Pretty much, it's getting there. This Stabilo Woody, I love these. And I've found that I love these colors together, this pink and this amethyst. I'm just gonna do some scribbles because that feels like the right thing to do. You know, just sometimes things feel like the right thing to do. And I really love these, the combination of these and the texture. Drawing with this just, it just glides, and I just really love that feeling. I don't know what it is about creating. It's like, is this pretty or not? I don't know. Does it matter? I mean, it's just part of representing how I'm doing today. And I think making things with our hands, like some people are woodworkers, some people paint, some people love to cook. But I think that making stuff with our hands and with our creative lens is one of the most satisfying things we can do. So now I'm just taking this other Stabilo Woody and I'm just going around some of these white areas. It just feels like that's what needs to happen. I'm just gonna, there we go. I'm the happiest painting when I'm just doing it. You know, somebody has asked me, Andy, will you do a commission for me? I cannot do that. It's too much pressure and I will never finish it because I'll never think it's good enough. And that's not therapeutic to me. What's therapeutic is just doing what needs to be done, which is this. Now I'm going to use this gelato. I told you guys in my last video how much I love these. Love them. Not everyone does. In the art community, I've seen some pretty interesting reviews. People think they're not very good, but I do really like them. Just for putting in some little bit more texture, I like to scribble it out. But just fun. Yeah, these, I'm trying to get some more colors of them because I just really like it so much. I only have the pistachio, the green color, which is a favorite. I just really like layering these colors. I mean, who would think this like bright green and this teal together and the pink would just bring me so much joy, but it does. It probably looks crazy to some people, but for some reason, I just really love it. Just really love it. All right. I'm feeling pretty good about this. I'm feeling much less tense and nervous. Yeah, I feel like I've made something. I've created something for the world. But I will not be showing the world. I guess I'm showing you guys. But mostly just creating it for myself. Then take the tape off. And like I said, this doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be time consuming. It doesn't have to have, you don't have to have all the art supplies. You can just doodle. It's just doing something to create something to make yourself feel better. All right, I'll catch you next week.